Hey folks, so I guess it's time for my monthly upload, and I sort of asked about in chat what I should make a video on, and someone had the great idea of actually suggesting a base that I could test one of my cannons on. I'll be basically me walking you through the thought process that I go through for rating a base. So this one's got quite a few regions on it. We've got some filters in the middle, got some mine chats in the front. I know everything at the top isn't watered properly. Actually, this isn't watered properly either. I should probably do that now. But we've got some defaults regions as well. Doesn't matter if it's not watered properly because I'm going to be shooting about 20 blocks below build height. So the way I water it at the top won't really have an effect on it. So just ignore that for the time being. I got some, so I got mine charts, filters, some normal regions, hard regions. Bit hard to see just with my cobblestone setup. We got some of these anti-one ones, I think they are. And then we've got some of the new filters that everyone seems to be spamming on complex. Um, or it's like a combination. It's like a very, very short hot dog, basically. Um, so anyway, we'll just get cracking into it. And so, I mean, this isn't going to be every single base that you're going to come across, um, but I can basically talk through busting most of these walls here. So my first thought here is we say this is the core of the base. Now, if we want to shoot for the core of the base, of course we need to get through all these regions, and of course to bust offset regions, you're going to need to be adjusting. So the first thing that I'd look at is I'd look at some of the different axes that you can bypass a lot of the regions on. So this one here looks quite promising. Um, Another thing that I will put in just very, very quickly before I forget, know what you can and can do and know its limitations. So I know this one has bypass, I know it has OSRB, I know it has double tap. Um, so basically, um, I know my bypass is going to work on these because these are dry. I know my OSRB is going to work on the mine chats, the hearts, and stuff like that. And I know my double tap can actually get through two walls, but it will take one shot to get through the first one to shoot through the second one. So my first thought process, and I'm just going to take it through the far right hand side first. I haven't actually built this particularly well, but basically I sort of see this line here. I see that there's no block here in these regions, and I see that there is a block here, but we can double tap that. So we'll keep following forwards, following forwards, following forwards. We can OSRB this, bypass that, and the only thing where we're really going to need to change the adjust is going to be this point here, because we need to bust that back bit of the regen block there in order to continue through on that side there. So we're actually going to need to bust this block here. So what we'll do is we'll take a mental note of that, which is negative 45,222. So I'll just say negative 222. Another good thing you can do is write that down in chat, plot chat 222, negative 222. So that's one point we need to hit. And then the other point we need to hit if we're aiming for this slot just here. So we're aiming for 223. We sort of just need to look at what else is in the way. So we will be needing to deal with this regen as well. So we're actually going to need to shoot out 224 as well. So in order to get a clear shot on 223, we will need to clear this region out basically, and we'll need to clear this region out as well. And then we basically have a clean run through. So what we'll start off by doing then is shooting for our first region, which is at negative 45,224. So this is our adjust here. I do want to keep it just below sky limit so we don't need to deal with that water issue. And basically on the left-hand side of my screen there, I'm sort of looking at the number on the z-axis. So you can see that's negative 45, 220, 221. So we'll take it out another couple blocks. This is 226, so I don't want to be shooting here. Don't want to be shooting 225. 224 is where I want to be shooting. So I just place a block there, and that's going to be my adjust for 224. So what we will do is I'm just going to fire once as a test fire. Just to make sure the cannon's working. Should be working. There you go. So you can see the OSRB. Not quite sure why my nuke didn't work properly there, to be honest. even if we don't have a nuke, I'm just going to go through it with it anyway. I'm just going to fire again, see if the nuke fixes itself up, or if the nuke's just straight up broken on this cannon. If it's broken, I'll just keep going. Nah, nuke there. Bit weird. Inconsistent. So basically, I know the cannon works now. So I fire one shot on a button, basically, two shots on auto, and if it's working after that, you can pretty much just freely auto. So I'll just fire two shots, wait for that to go through two rotations like that. I'll turn that back off. So I'll just make sure this cannon is now working on auto. Bang, bang, bang. I don't know what's going on with the web bus, to be honest. Seems to be a bit crap. Anyway, you can see now where that sand stack's been lining up. We are hitting the indent of this region here. So we can pretty much safely just fire again, and we'll hit that indent there. And hopefully the OSRB is actually working on this cannon. There we go. So we get a nice little OSRB hole in the inside of that mine shaft. So now we've cleared out that regen on 224. Now the next number that I did, or the first number that I did put in chat was -222, which is this indent here. Oh, I've actually cocked up a little bit, haven't I? Yeah. So have I? I want to shoot 223. Okay, no, I need to clear this one out anyway. But now I need to bust this region here. It's a little bit awkward because this region here is intact, but basically I should be able to brute force double tap through one region. So if I just set it up here, I'll just brute force through that to try and get to this region here. And if I can OSRB this region here, then I'll just adjust back over to that spot there. So it's just basically you're just brute forcing to get through this region here because you don't want to adjust over and have to bust this region as well. So you'll just shoot for this spot here and just deal with going through. So I'll move the guide across 2 blocks to get to 222. Okay, that's 45 222 there. And we'll just be, yeah, brute forcing through this spot here. And hopefully, if I turn the lever on, you should see that it will go through that. 10. Let's have a look. What am I shooting at? Okay, yep. So hopefully, yep, there we go. We just double tap through that region and we just OSRB'd that region there. Perfect. Oh, I've gone through and hit that region as well, apparently. I just turned the cannon off. But you can see now we're not actually getting through that heart region there. How do we shoot through that? I don't know. Apparently I've OSRB'd through the back there. I actually don't know how that's happened, to be honest. But it's good for us. It's because the top bit's broken up here. That's just a result of my crappy watering. For my next attempt, I'll adjust it all the way down. But for now, we'll just make do with that. So the one that we want, the kill shot basically, is going through 223 now. So we'll adjust over for 223. I know my bypass can get through that. I've busted the two regens on the front. Bypass through this, OSRV this, and it should OSRV through this as well, actually. If we have a look. Yep, since that's water there, we can OSRV through that. Skip that, and then hopefully the double tap will get us through that region there, and then we'll slowly start chipping through those walls on the back. So I've just turned the cannon back on, and did I adjust? I didn't adjust. I need to adjust it one across. And now, where are we hitting? There we go. So yeah, we've just OSRB'd that heart there. So now that should take us cleanly through, and we're starting to do some damage to that filter there. You should see if the cannon's working properly, which it is. We're just double tapping straight through that filter there, and every second shot is hitting this back wall here. There it goes again. So again, double tap through the filter, onto the back wall, double taps again, and that's the breach there. I'm not quite sure why this nuke is being so inconsistent, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to adjust the cannon completely over now, and we will backstack some of these filters, and we'll talk about some other ways that you can bust some of these regions here. I'm also going to drop the the Y guide all the way down as well, just because I've just watered everything like absolute crap. So we'll just shoot through here now instead. So I'm going to be shooting on this side here, so we're not shooting through any of those holes on that side there. And what we'll do this time is I'm just going to forcibly say we have to bust one of these filters here. So if I want to bust this filter here, it's actually going to be a bit of a bitch. So we're going to need to, basically we'll need to precisely count the amount of shots that we're going to fire, because we really don't want to Owasabi this regen at the back. The reason we don't want to do that is because if we Owasabi and break this regen at the back, that's just going to increase the distance that we need to backstack. So we're going to try and leave that regen there intact. And what we'll do instead is we will line up to, say, hit that spot there. So to hit that spot there, I'll need to shoot through here, which is negative 45, 200, which I'll just call 200. So I'll put that in chat. So that's 200 there. And of course, you want to be really, really careful about this because you want to leave this regen intact there to make your life a bit easier. So you shoot 200, and we also need to shoot 201. So we'll start off shooting 200. So we're going to need to fire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots to bust 200. So where are we? 200. Oh my god, that's right on the edge of the cannon, but it should be fine. It's 199. That's 200 just there. So this is 200 we're busting. So we're going to need to lever for 5 shots. And hopefully we should see that that regen breaks. So that's 1. It's 2. 3. 4. 5. We'll turn the cannon back off. Just watch the wall. And then hopefully that's it. Perfect. So we haven't overshot this regen here at all. So what we can do now is we're going to adjust across to hit this regen here. So we will adjust to 201 now. There's a hole there, so we need to keep that short. One thing you can do is if you are also being like this and busting walls, if you're in Rome, you can always have a look at the path of damage in front of you. So obviously that obsidian's going to take 1 shot there, so that'll soak up 1 shot, but everything else should be cleared on 201, which it is. So you can see the nukes cleared away everything else on that axis. So we're going to need 2 shots, 1 to bust the obby, and then the second one to bust the regen there. So we'll fire 2 shots. I didn't adjust, did I? Oops. Where are we? 201. I need to adjust it 1 across because I forgot to adjust it. So let's drop a block back there and we'll just fire. I'm going to fire 1 shot just to be safe. Because again, we really don't want to knock out the regen behind this one. I think that's actually just going to break that though. Yeah. It's going to be a problem. So now we need to deal with, it looks like 201. We're going to need to deal with this regen here on the side, I think, to break through that. We can brute force it as well, but again, we don't really want to break that on the side there. So I think what we'll do is we're aiming for that filter there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be very, very careful because the cannon should hit these blocks here, break through, and then it should double tap that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire 2 shots, 1 to double tap this first bit here, and then the second one to Owasabi that bit there. And then hopefully we can adjust back over and we'll be able to start backstacking that regen. Now I'm taking my time with this just so you guys get a pretty decent idea of what I'm doing. I'm explaining everything. You can do it a lot quicker in a raid if you've done this sort of thing before. So there we go. So we've also beat that regen there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to double tap it again, just making sure that that cobblestone's still in place, which it is. So I'm just going to double tap that regen again, just to fully break the obsidian behind it. There we go. So that should bust there. and then boom. So we get a nice big hole there. I might have actually cocked up pretty bad, to be honest, because I think, oh no, no, it's there. Never mind. I was getting kind of worried. So basically, I need to shoot through this regen here now again, which is going to be um, 45, 200, and that's going to be the axis that we want to backstack on. So we'll just line the cannon back up, 45, 200, and again, I'm just going to single fire to try and clear away the rest of that regen. So it should just clear out that bit on the side there. Apparently it just didn't know OSRB. That's nice. Wow, that's really not working good. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off my nuke. I'm basically just going to try and leave the OSRBC in there. So I'm going to turn off my nuke, and I think on this cannon I also have something called reswing, which I believe is that there. What that does is just shoots the nuke hammer back down. So I'm just going to disable that as well now, and I'm just going to fire again, and hopefully we just see the stack there. There we go. So we've cleared out that regen now. So I'm just going to go back over and toggle those two things back on. So that's redstone, and then this was on 3 ticks. Make sure I remember that. I'm just going to fire again just to clear out that stack out of the way, because that was basically backstacking. And I might have just screwed up big time. Yeah, I did. That was the one thing that I didn't want to do. So I should have cleared that route for blocks there, because that's just made my life quite miserable now. And I've just shot through this 1x1 block gap. So now basically we just need to backstack a longer distance. I mean, it's okay, but it's not ideal. So to backstack on this cannon, I need to turn my nuke off, which is that there. And I also need to turn my OSRB off, which is that there. So if I fire now, that should just stack once. And it's going to stack at the very, very back here, hopefully. Oh, I had bypass on. Okay. So that's another thing. If you're backstacking, you need to make sure your bypass is off. There's my bypass. That's my bypass there. So I'm going to turn my bypass off. If you have bypass on, basically, if you're trying to backstack dry, you're just going to keep bypassing your backstack, which is something you don't want to do. So hopefully now that will shoot through. Actually don't know how I broke that. Did it stack though? Actually don't know. I think it's stacked in that region. Yeah, it did. All right, I'm gonna lever it. So I'm gonna full auto the cannon. Hopefully you can just see it starts backstacking now. Huh? That's a bit weird. I thought I had bypass turned. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Don't do what I just did. That's the slide bust. This is the bypass up here. Alright, let's try that again. So just turn the cannon on auto again. Sorry about that. And hopefully it should start backstacking now. Which it is. Okay, sick. So you can see we do need to backstack that longer distance there because I did screw up and accidentally almost beat that region. It's okay, it just takes a little longer. There we go. And basically we'll want to backstack until we're all the way back through this filter here. And that will just remove the sources in the filter. There we go. So we can turn the cannon back off. And now you can see that filter there is just not regenerating back. So that's completely wrecked that filter. All right, you can turn off now. There we go. Sick. So we dealt with this filter here. We'll regen a little bit at the bottom, but once we get all that cleared out, it should be fine. So I've also busted that regen now. And so what I'm going to be aiming for is going to be the indent of this heart here, which conveniently actually lines up with that filter there as well. So since I'm aiming for this indent here. I need OSRB on. I no longer need backstack on, and I can pretty much safely auto. The only time when you can't really safely auto is when you're trying to backstack or when you're trying to do finicky stuff with walls like that. But basically at this point here, I'm just going to turn everything else back on. That's my nuke and bypass, and that's my web bus there. So I'll just turn my auto back on, and I think now this should go through the base. So it's going to go through that, and then hopefully, well, does it need to go through that? Yeah, it does, I think. Did I adjust? I don't think I adjusted. No, I didn't. Whoops. So I need to adjust back over for this spot here. You can see it's not busting that region there, even with OSRB on. So I need to adjust it one block over to -45,199. Hopefully we'll just check that everything else is cleared out of the way. Bypass will get through that. That should get OSRB, so it's pretty safe. So I'm just going to adjust it back over to 45,199, which is there. And then now, hopefully, we should just start shooting through. So that should get OSRB there, which it isn't. Bypass should go through that at least. Yeah, so it's bypassing that. We have OSRB this heart now, but we are double tapping the front. Now we don't want to be double tapping the front, of course, because we do need to be double tapping this back filter as well. So it's actually not going to go through and hit that wall there. So we'll need to deal with the issue at the front of the cannon, or the front of the base first, before we can keep going through the back. So again, I think this issue was the same one I just had before, which is just this. Where is it? What am I busting? It's just regenerating back. So I'm not actually 100% sure why that OSRB isn't actually functioning there. But basically, I'm just going to turn everything back off. I'm just going to try and OSRB through that there to bust the back. So I'll turn my web bust off, and I'm going to turn my reswing off, and we'll just fire once, and hopefully that should just OSRB a little bit higher up. Which it does, perfect. So now we've cleared out the rest of that region there, we can turn those two things back on, which is my bypass, or my web bus, sorry, and my reswing. So we'll fire again just to make sure that this is going to go through this region here. Should now. Okay, maybe it's shooting higher. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So that's actually the bypass going off there. So we're bypassing that part of the region there, and we should be shooting into, what are we shooting into? The front or the side of this one? I think we're shooting into the side of that one, which is good, because that basically means that we can double tap through. Where are we? I don't even know where I'm shooting, to be completely honest. Okay, it looks like we're just shooting. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So we're now just double tapping through the back of this one here. So it is hitting that hot dog or filter, whatever you want to call it there once, and then it's just shooting through the back like that. I believe one more shot, and there we go, through. So that's a pretty poor tutorial on how to fuck up raiding a base, but hopefully that will get you a decent sense for sort of my thinking when I'm going through and doing it. If you have any questions, just throw them in the comments or just DM me on Discord, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. Um, and until then, I'll catch you in the next video. So hopefully you have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you all later.